Hey everyone, glad you're here. And today we're looking at health trends that somehow survived common sense.
Humanity looked at actual medicine and said, nah, let's drink charcoal instead. Before we begin this beautiful parade of internet-certified nonsense, subscribe to our Telegram channel. Link waiting for you in the description below. That's where we post bonus stories, banned facts, and extra absurdity the algorithm probably needs therapy for. And now buckle up, because these fake health trends somehow convinced millions of adults to ignore doctors and trust a woman named Crystal holding celery juice on Instagram. 1. Activated charcoal smoothies. At some point, society collectively decided the best way to become healthier was to eat the same substance used after accidental poisoning. Activated charcoal exploded into cafes like it was the second coming of kale. Suddenly, every smoothie looked like motor oil from a 1994 Ford pickup truck. Influencers claimed it detoxed the body, which sounds scientific until you realize your body already comes with a liver. That's literally its entire job description. People dumped charcoal into lemonade, ice cream, burger buns, and even toothpaste, because apparently looking like you brushed your teeth with chimney dust became fashionable. The best part? Activated charcoal can actually interfere with medications by absorbing them. Imagine taking your prescription medicine every morning only for your goth milkshake to neutralize it like a Marvel villain. Nothing says wellness journey quite like paying $14 for a black smoothie that tastes like burned drywall while your vitamins quietly disappear into the void. Humanity really looked at barbecue residue and thought, finally, health. 2. Ear candling. Ear candling is one of those trends that sounds fake even after someone explains it 3 times. The idea is simple. Stick a long wax cone into your ear, light it on fire, and somehow believe this improves your health instead of summoning an 18th century demon. People genuinely thought the candle would vacuum earwax out through magical heat suction, which already sounds like something invented by a pirate pharmacist during a rum blackout. The process itself looks deeply concerning. You lie sideways while another adult waves fire near your head like they're trying to cook a human fajita. Then, after the candle burns down, practitioners proudly show the disgusting yellow residue inside the cone as proof toxins left your body. Except studies later showed most of that gunk came from the candle itself. Congratulations! You paid money to create your own fake evidence. That's basically the wellness version of printing counterfeit coupons. Doctors repeatedly warned people this could burn ears, block ear canals, and damage hearing. But the trend survived because nothing beats the powerful human instinct of saying, sure, medical science disagrees, but this lady at the flea market seemed confident. 3. Tapeworm diet pills. And now we arrive at the crown jewel of terrible health ideas, willingly swallowing parasites to lose weight. Yes, real human beings bought tapeworm diet pills because apparently regular exercise sounded too inconvenient compared to hosting an intestinal monster inside your body like a cursed Airbnb guest. The logic was horrifyingly simple. The worm would eat some of your food, meaning fewer calories for you. Technically true. In the same way, setting your kitchen on fire technically lowers your heating bill. Early advertisements made it sound glamorous too, promising effortless slimming while carefully skipping over the whole living parasite stealing nutrients from your organs part. Minor detail. Some people ended up with severe malnutrition, pain, vomiting, and worms growing several feet long inside them. Imagine explaining that at Thanksgiving dinner. Actually, Aunt Linda, I didn't lose weight naturally. I'm in a committed relationship with a parasite. The truly impressive part is that this scam survived for decades, because humans will apparently try absolutely anything if someone whispers the phrase, quick weight loss. At this point, if a raccoon in sunglasses sold radioactive soup as a metabolism booster, somebody online would probably leave a 5-star review. 4. The raw water movement. Human civilization spent thousands of years inventing water filtration systems so people would stop dying from mysterious swamp diseases. Then, somehow, in the middle of the internet age, a group of wellness influencers decided clean water was suspicious. Enter raw water, the trend where people paid absurd amounts of money for untreated spring water filled with whatever nature felt like contributing that week. Minerals? Sure. Bacteria? Absolutely. Maybe a dead squirrel upstream? That's part of the earthy flavor profile. Companies sold glass jugs of this murky apocalypse juice for prices usually reserved for expensive whiskey. Fans claimed purified water was dead, while raw water was alive with beneficial organisms. Technically true, cholera is also alive. That's not usually considered a selling point. The movement became peak California energy. People in yoga pants paying $40 for water that looked like it lost a fight with a hiking boot. Health officials repeatedly warned that untreated water can carry parasites and dangerous bacteria. But nothing stops a wellness trend once somebody whispers words like natural and ancient wisdom. Apparently, if medieval peasants suffered from contaminated water, modern influencers saw it as unfinished business. 5. Sunlight through your rear end. Every generation creates at least one trend that makes future historians stare silently out a window for a while. This one involved people intentionally exposing their naked backsides to direct sunlight for energy absorption. Yes, somehow we reached a point where adults were sunbathing parts of their body normally reserved for awkward doctor appointments. Wellness influencers claimed this bizarre practice increased focus, improved sleep, boosted creativity, and delivered cosmic energy, which is an impressive amount of promises for something that basically looks like a failed yoga retreat. Social media filled with videos of people lying in deserts, gardens, and rooftops like confused house cats who had fully abandoned dignity. Some even claimed 30 seconds of perineum sunning provided more energy than an entire cup of coffee. Imagine explaining that sentence to someone from the 1950s. Their brain would probably shut down like an overloaded toaster. Doctors quickly stepped in to explain that exposing extremely sensitive skin to ultraviolet rays was not revolutionary medicine. It was just a creative shortcut to sunburn. But by then, the internet had already done what it does best, turning one person's terrible idea into a global movement powered entirely by confidence and Wi-Fi. 6. Crystal healing water bottles. At some point, regular hydration became too boring. People decided water needed spiritual accessories. That's how crystal-infused water bottles became a massive wellness trend. The concept sounded like a deleted Harry Potter subplot. Place shiny rocks inside your bottle so the water absorbs healing vibrations. Suddenly, adults were carrying giant glass bottles filled with quartz, amethyst, and enough gemstones to rob a medieval king. Influencers claimed different crystals delivered different powers. Rose quartz promoted love. Citrine brought abundance. Amethyst supposedly created calmness. Meanwhile, tap water was just sitting there like, I literally keep you alive every day, and this is the respect I get? The entire trend felt like humanity collectively decided geology should replace medicine. The funniest part was how aggressively expensive these bottles became. Some sold for over $100 because apparently hydration now needed downloadable magical properties, and naturally, people treated them with sacred seriousness. You couldn't just wash the bottle, you had to cleanse the crystal energy. Imagine being so committed to fake wellness that your drinking container requires emotional maintenance. Scientists repeatedly explained that rocks do not transmit healing powers into liquids. But honestly, after watching people pay luxury prices for spiritually seasoned water, it became clear the placebo effect could probably sell literally anything with enough pastel-colored packaging. 7. Coffee enemas. Human beings looked at coffee, one of the few universally beloved inventions on Earth, and somehow decided drinking it wasn't enough. No, wellness culture took one glance at a perfectly good beverage and thought, what if we made this horrifying? That's how coffee enemas became a trend. The theory claimed inserting coffee into places coffee absolutely does not belong would detoxify the body and increase energy levels, because apparently your intestines now needed a Starbucks rewards account. The practice became popular in alternative wellness circles, where people treated it like some ancient secret hidden from mainstream medicine. In reality, doctors mostly reacted with the exhausted expression of parents discovering crayons melted in the microwave again. Medical experts warned the trend could cause burns, dehydration, infections, and electrolyte imbalances. But none of that mattered once influencers started using words like cleanse and toxins, the official vocabulary of people selling nonsense in mason jars. And honestly, the logistics alone should have stopped humanity immediately. Brewing coffee already requires effort. Now imagine preparing an entire pot just to create the most uncomfortable bathroom experience since Taco Bell invented ambition. Somewhere, an Italian grandmother probably heard about this trend and immediately lost faith in civilization. 8. The cotton ball diet. If fake health trends were a competition, the cotton ball diet deserves its own emergency warning label. The idea was brutally simple and unbelievably stupid. Soak cotton balls in juice, swallow them, and trick your stomach into feeling full without eating actual food. Yes, people willingly turned themselves into human craft projects because dieting culture apparently reached a point where starvation alone wasn't creative enough anymore. The trend spread online through modeling forums and social media, where extreme thinness was treated like an Olympic event sponsored by insecurity. Supporters claimed cotton balls helped reduce calorie intake while still filling the stomach. That's technically true. In the same way filling your gas tank with socks technically changes what's inside the car, it doesn't mean the system was designed for it. Doctors immediately warned that swallowing cotton could cause choking, intestinal blockages, and severe digestive problems. Also, many cotton balls aren't even pure cotton. Some are made from synthetic fibers, meaning people were basically eating pieces of bleached polyester from the cosmetics aisle. Humanity invented sandwiches, pasta, barbecue, and cheesecake, only for somebody to voluntarily snack on arts and crafts supplies. That's not wellness. That's what happens when self-esteem and the internet form a dangerous alliance. 9. Magnetic bracelets. That balanced energy. For a glorious stretch of time, humanity became absolutely convinced tiny magnets could solve nearly every health problem short of being hit by a bus. Magnetic bracelets exploded in popularity after celebrities and late-night TV ads promised they improved circulation, relieved pain, boosted energy, and probably aligned your chakras while they were at it. Suddenly, every mall kiosk looked like a low-budget superhero headquarters. The sales pitches were incredible. Tiny magnets embedded in cheap metal bracelets were marketed like NASA technology secretly discovered in Area 51. People wore them while golfing, gardening, driving, or aggressively discussing cholesterol at diners. If someone's back stopped hurting after wearing one, they treated the bracelet like it had personally graduated from medical school. Meanwhile, the placebo effect quietly carried the entire operation on its exhausted shoulders. Scientists repeatedly found little evidence these bracelets did much beyond making wrists slightly shinier. But that didn't stop millions from buying them because humans love shortcuts. Exercise takes effort. Sleep requires discipline. But a magical bracelet? That's beautifully lazy. It's the wellness equivalent of taping a battery to your arm and whispering, "Heal me, refrigerator jewelry." 10. Jade eggs. Some wellness trends sound questionable. Others sound like they were invented during a dare at a luxury spa. Jade eggs definitely belong in Category 2. The trend involved women inserting polished jade stones into intimate areas because celebrities and influencers claimed it improved hormones, energy, muscle tone, spirituality, and probably your Wi-Fi signal at this point. The ancient wisdom marketing was relentless. Companies described these eggs like mystical artifacts hidden inside a mountain temple for centuries. In reality, it was basically expensive polished rock sold with the confidence of a used car salesman wearing linen pants. Some versions cost over $100, proving once again that if you package nonsense in pastel colors and use the word holistic, people will throw money at it like raccoons discovering an open trash can. Doctors quickly warned that porous stones could trap bacteria and potentially cause infections. But by then, celebrities had already transformed jade eggs into status symbols for people who think regular exercise isn't spiritually complicated enough. The trend became peak modern wellness culture, taking a perfectly ordinary object from geology class and somehow turning it into a luxury medical miracle through sheer audacity and Instagram lighting. 11. Vampire facials. Nothing says healthy glowing skin quite like looking like you lost a knife fight in a haunted house. Vampire facials became wildly popular after celebrities posted photos of themselves covered in blood like exhausted extras from a zombie movie. The procedure involved drawing blood, separating parts of it, then smearing or injecting it back into the face to supposedly stimulate youthful skin. Technically, there is some legitimate medical science involving platelet-rich plasma. Unfortunately, the internet immediately grabbed the concept, covered it in dramatic marketing, and transformed dermatology into a horror franchise. Clinics advertised the treatment with glamorous photos that somehow made people forget they resembled crime scene evidence. Customers walked into spas looking for beauty and walked out resembling Dracula after a stressful divorce. The craze spread because wellness culture loves suffering that looks expensive. If a treatment hurts, costs $900, and makes you temporarily terrifying, people assume it must work. It's the same logic that made medieval doctors think leeches were basically therapists with teeth. Health officials later warned about unsafe clinics and poor sanitation practices after reports of infections surfaced. But by then, social media had already decided blood-covered selfies were the new symbol of self-care. Humanity truly reached a point where looking medically concerning became aspirational. 12. Alkaline water. Obsession water used to have one simple responsibility: stop you from dehydrating in the Walmart parking lot during summer. Then wellness influencers arrived and decided ordinary water was somehow spiritually inadequate. Enter alkaline water, marketed as a miracle liquid capable of balancing body pH, slowing aging, increasing energy, and probably repairing emotional damage from middle school. Bottles appeared everywhere with futuristic labels promising enhanced hydration and optimal alkalinity. Which sounds impressive until you remember your stomach acid could probably dissolve a spoon. The human body already regulates pH levels incredibly well. If it didn't, you wouldn't need wellness products. You'd need an ambulance. Still, people treated alkaline water like liquid enlightenment. Entire machines were sold so homeowners could transform regular tap water into premium luxury hydration for the low price of a used Honda Civic. Some families discussed water acidity with the seriousness of Cold War diplomats negotiating nuclear treaties. Scientists repeatedly explained there's little evidence alkaline water provides major health benefits for most people. But logic never stood a chance once consumers saw glowing blue packaging and heard words like toxins and balance. Humanity has always loved magical potions. We just replaced medieval bottles with minimalist branding and subscription plans. 13. Essential oils for literally everything. Essential oils started innocently enough. Lavender smells nice. Peppermint can feel relaxing. Totally reasonable. Then the internet happened, and suddenly people were treating tiny bottles of scented liquid like they belonged in an Avengers movie. Headache? Oil? Anxiety? Oil? Broken arm? Somehow still oil. At one point, wellness influencers were practically one Instagram story away from claiming eucalyptus could fix Wi-Fi problems. Social media transformed ordinary aromatherapy into a full-blown lifestyle religion. Moms carried giant oil cases like traveling salespeople from the 1950s, except instead of encyclopedias, they were selling oregano drops with the confidence of medieval alchemists. Every conversation turned into a chemistry experiment nobody asked for. You seem tired. Have you tried rubbing cinnamon bark extract behind your knees during a full moon? The dangerous part came when people began replacing actual medical treatment with oils. Doctors repeatedly warned that some oils could irritate skin, trigger allergic reactions, or even poison pets and children if misused. But wellness culture kept marching forward because humans desperately want life to work like fantasy movies. We all secretly hope a tiny magical potion can solve our problems faster than vegetables and sleep ever could. 14. The Master Cleanse. Lemon Diet. Nothing captures modern diet culture better than willingly starving yourself while pretending it's spiritual growth. The Master Cleanse became famous for convincing people to survive on lemon juice, maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and water for days at a time. That's not a diet. That's what happens when your refrigerator loses custody of its groceries. Supporters claimed the cleanse removed toxins, reset the body, increased clarity, and promoted rapid weight loss. Technically true because if you stop eating solid food entirely, your body tends to notice. Unfortunately, your organs notice too. Doctors warned the cleanse could cause fatigue, dizziness, nutrient deficiencies, and enough irritability to destroy Thanksgiving dinner conversations for generations. Celebrities fueled the trend by talking about dramatic transformations, which inspired millions to spend entire workdays fantasizing about cheeseburgers while sipping spicy lemonade that tasted like regret with citrus notes. The real miracle wasn't detoxification, It was surviving meetings without biting a coworker out of hunger. And somehow the word cleanse made everything sound healthy instead of mildly concerning. Nobody calls normal eating a cleanse. You never hear someone say, "Tonight I'm detoxing with mashed potatoes and ribs." But add lemons and suffering and suddenly people think they're ancient wellness warriors instead of exhausted adults hallucinating about pancakes. 15. Snorting chocolate to boost energy. Eventually, wellness culture collided headfirst with nightclub behavior, and the result was powdered chocolate you were supposed to snort. Yes, real companies sold cacao powder blends designed for nasal inhalation because apparently drinking hot chocolate was no longer dramatic enough for modern society. The products promised energy boosts, euphoric feelings, improved focus, and enhanced mood experiences, which sounds suspiciously like something invented at 2 a.m. by a man wearing velvet indoors. The trend became especially popular in trendy party scenes where people wanted stimulation without looking like they'd completely abandoned self-respect. Users claimed the cacao created a natural high and mental clarity. In reality, many doctors responded with the medical equivalent of a long, exhausted sigh. Health experts warned snorting any powder could irritate nasal tissue and potentially damage sinuses over time. But honestly, the entire concept already sounded ridiculous before science even entered the room. Humanity spent centuries perfecting chocolate as one of life's greatest joys. Cakes, brownies, milkshakes, candy bars. Then somebody looked at all that happiness and decided, you know what this needs? Nostril delivery. That's the beauty of fake health trends. They always begin with one impossible promise and end with people treating dessert like illegal contraband from a futuristic disco. 16. The baby food diet. At some point, adults looked at tiny jars of mashed peas designed for people who still think ceiling fans are magic and said, "Perfect? Lunch." The baby food diet became wildly popular after celebrities were rumored to use it for quick weight loss. The strategy was simple: replace meals with jars of pureed mush that smelled faintly like sadness and daycare. Supporters claimed the tiny portions reduced calorie intake while still providing nutrients. Technically true, if your nutritional goals also include feeling emotionally defeated by 2 p.m. Imagine sitting in your office break room eating liquefied carrots from a glass jar while your coworker reheats lasagna. That's not wellness. That's psychological warfare against yourself. The trend also exposed how obsessed people became with portion control. Instead of learning balanced eating habits, fully grown adults willingly adopted the dining habits of someone whose favorite hobby is chewing on furniture. Doctors pointed out that the diet lacked proper balance and wasn't sustainable long-term. But sustainability never matters in fake health trends. The goal is always immediate transformation with maximum inconvenience. Humanity really invented barbecue, pizza, and Thanksgiving dinner only to voluntarily downgrade itself to strained applesauce in a container small enough for a hamster picnic. 17. Colon cleansing kits. Nothing terrifies wellness culture more than the idea that the human body already works perfectly fine without expensive assistance. That fear created the booming industry of colon cleanses. Products promising to flush toxins from your digestive system, like your intestines, were somehow clogged motel plumbing from 1978. Companies sold teas, powders, supplements, and terrifyingly aggressive kits that claimed to remove years of mysterious waste buildup. Advertisements showed animated intestines looking like abandoned sewer pipes before suddenly transforming into sparkling white tunnels of happiness. Apparently, marketers believed human anatomy operated exactly like a dirty kitchen drain after Thanksgiving. The problem is your digestive system already cleans itself naturally. That's literally part of the job description. Doctors repeatedly warned that extreme cleansing could lead to dehydration, electrolyte problems, digestive issues, and people spending entire weekends sprinting toward bathrooms with the panic of contestants in a game show. But wellness influencers loved the trend because fake medicine always sounds more exciting when it involves words like purge and detox. Nobody sells books titled "Your organs are actually doing fine." That doesn't move product. Fear does. So millions of people paid absurd amounts of money to aggressively attack a body system that had quietly worked perfectly since birth without needing motivational supervision from Instagram. 18. Wearing copper socks for arthritis. Humanity has always believed shiny metal objects possess magical powers. Knights wore armor, pirates loved gold, and modern wellness culture decided copper socks could apparently cure joint pain. Suddenly, pharmacies and TV commercials were filled with compression sleeves, gloves, and socks infused with copper fibers, promising miraculous relief from arthritis and inflammation. The marketing sounded incredibly scientific, despite mostly relying on the ancient strategy of saying words confidently near older people watching daytime television. Commercials featured smiling retirees suddenly hiking mountains, gardening effortlessly, and probably wrestling bears after slipping on magical orange socks. The implication was clear. Modern medicine is complicated, but metallic foot pajamas are the future. Now, compression itself can help circulation and comfort. But the copper? That part wandered straight into late-night infomercial territory. Scientists found little evidence the metal itself performed miracles beyond making people feel proactive about their pain. Still, consumers love them because fake health trends thrive on one beautiful idea: effortless healing without changing anything else. And honestly, the visual alone was incredible. Entire generations spent decades distrusting technology, only to eventually place their medical hopes into what basically looked like radioactive gym socks from a sci-fi bowling league. 19. The breatharian movement. Every fake health trend is ridiculous in its own way, but breatharianism entered the competition like it was trying to set a world record. Followers claimed humans could survive without food, and sometimes without water, by absorbing energy directly from sunlight, air, and the universe itself. Basically, photosynthesis, but for people who own yoga mats. The logic collapsed immediately under even gentle questioning. Humans are not plants. Karen from Arizona cannot sustain herself through cosmic vibrations and positive thinking alone. Your body requires calories, nutrients, and water, because biology stubbornly refuses to care about influence or confidence. Unfortunately, some breatharian leaders promoted the lifestyle with such certainty that followers genuinely attempted it. Several high-profile gurus were eventually caught secretly eating food, which might be the funniest possible ending to this story. Imagine preaching enlightenment through starvation, only to get exposed buying tacos at midnight like a raccoon wearing spiritual beads. Some followers became dangerously ill attempting the practice, while doctors repeatedly warned the movement could literally kill people. But fake health culture loves impossible promises. The dream of transcending ordinary human limitations is intoxicating. Unfortunately, reality always arrives eventually, usually holding a cheeseburger and basic understanding of metabolism. 20. Anti-5G stickers and radiation protection jewelry. When 5G technology rolled out, the internet reacted exactly as expected, by immediately convincing itself cell phone towers were secretly villainous death lasers. Suddenly, companies began selling anti-radiation stickers, pendants, bracelets, and tiny metal chips claiming to protect users from harmful electromagnetic waves. Which sounds impressive until you realize some of these products were basically glorified refrigerator magnets with trust issues. The advertisements were incredible. Tiny adhesive circles supposedly neutralized harmful frequencies through advanced quantum technology, a phrase fake wellness brands use whenever they want science to sound mysterious enough that nobody asks follow-up questions. Some products cost hundreds of dollars, despite looking like spare parts from a broken garage door opener. Experts repeatedly explained that many of these gadgets had absolutely no measurable effect. A few were even tested and discovered to contain radioactive materials themselves, which is a spectacular level of irony. Imagine buying jewelry to avoid invisible radiation only to accidentally purchase slightly more radiation. That's like buying a helmet made entirely of bricks. Still, people loved the products because modern fear sells beautifully. If something sounds technological and invisible, humans immediately assume they need expensive protection. Somewhere, a scam artist saw public confusion about cell phone signals and whispered, This is my Super Bowl." 21. Detox foot pads. The detox foot pad trend was built on one magical promise: tape mysterious patches to your feet overnight, wake up healthier. That's it. No exercise, no balanced diet, no sleep schedule. Just sticky little squares pulling toxins from your body while you snore beside a half-charged phone and an unfinished Netflix series. The pads supposedly worked through ancient cleansing methods, which is marketing language for "we're about to invent nonsense with bamboo graphics." By morning, the patches turned dark brown and disgusting looking, which companies proudly claimed was evidence of toxins leaving the body. Customers stared at the gross stains like archaeologists discovering proof of evil inside their own feet. Then scientists ruined the magic by pointing out the color changes mostly came from sweat and chemical reactions already built into the pads. In other words, the product was basically creating fake evidence like a wellness-themed detective drama. You could achieve similar results by taping instant gravy mix to your socks and believing in yourself. But people adored the trend because it captured the ultimate fantasy: healing while unconscious. No effort, no discomfort, just sleeping your way to perfect health like a medically confused Disney princess. Humanity will always chase shortcuts, especially ones that let us remain horizontal the entire time. 22. Sleeping grounded. With earthing sheets. At some point, regular beds stopped being good enough. Wellness culture decided humans needed electrical reconnection with the earth itself, which led to the rise of earthing sheets. These special bed sheets supposedly transferred the planet's natural energy into your body while you slept. Yes, somehow sleeping became technologically complicated. The theory claimed modern humans were disconnected from Earth's electrons because we wear shoes and live indoors. Apparently, civilization itself was now the enemy. Companies sold grounding mats, conductive pillowcases, and wired bed sheets that plugged into outlets like your mattress was preparing for software updates overnight. The marketing sounded deeply scientific, while also somehow resembling a deleted subplot from a low-budget alien documentary. Fans claimed the sheets improved sleep, reduced inflammation, boosted mood, and increased energy. Meanwhile, scientists mostly responded with polite skepticism and the exhausted body language of people forced to explain gravity to Facebook commenters. But consumers love the idea because fake health trends thrive on ancient-sounding solutions wrapped in modern packaging. Humanity really spent centuries inventing insulated homes, comfortable mattresses, and central heating, only to decide we desperately needed to reconnect spiritually with dirt through electrically enhanced pajamas. That's not wellness. That's camping with extra invoices. 23. Eating clay for detoxification. When nutritionists say people should eat more minerals, this is probably not what they meant. The edible clay trend convinced thousands of people to consume bentonite clay because influencers claimed it absorbed toxins from the body. Which sounds impressive until you realize this is dangerously close to adults voluntarily snacking on pottery ingredients. The trend exploded online through wellness blogs, where every sentence included words like purify, cleanse, and natural healing. Supporters mixed clay powder into water until it resembled a sad puddle outside Home Depot after rain. Then they drank it with the confidence of medieval peasants, trusting a wizard who smelled like onions. Some companies marketed the clay as an internal vacuum cleaner for your digestive system, which sounds less like medicine and more like something invented by a very determined vacuum salesman during the Great Depression. Doctors warned that excessive clay consumption could cause constipation, digestive issues, and exposure to harmful contaminants like lead. But by then, people were already posting recipes online for clay smoothies, like civilization had quietly collapsed overnight. Honestly, fake health trends always reveal one powerful truth. Humans will consume almost anything if someone says the word toxins enough times beside a photograph of a waterfall. 24. The urine therapy movement. Every once in a while, wellness culture produces an idea so astonishing that your brain physically refuses to process it for a few seconds. Urine therapy absolutely belongs in that category. Followers believed drinking or applying urine could cure illnesses, improve skin, boost immunity, and increase overall wellness. Yes, humanity invented coffee, lemonade, and milkshakes, and some people still looked at bodily waste and thought, maybe this is the miracle ingredient. Supporters claimed urine contained healing compounds recycled by the body. Doctors responded with the medical equivalent of staring silently into the distance while reconsidering career choices. The body removes waste for a reason. That's literally the entire point of the process. Redrinking it isn't recycling. It's your kidneys being forced to see the same email twice. The movement gained traction online because fake health trends love sounding rebellious. If mainstream medicine says something is ridiculous, alternative wellness communities immediately treat it like hidden forbidden knowledge, suppressed by giant corporations and probably lizard people. And somehow, people kept promoting it, despite the overwhelming fact that even hearing about it makes most humans instinctively recoil like startled cats near cucumbers. When your health advice sounds like survival instructions from a desert hallucination, it may be time to rethink the strategy. 25. Smearing onion juice on the body. For generations, onions served one beautiful purpose: making burgers taste incredible while ruining first dates with brutal efficiency. Then wellness culture decided onions belonged in medicine cabinets too. Suddenly, people were rubbing onion juice on their skin, scalps, and even feet because the internet claimed it cured hair loss, fevers, infections, and probably emotional baggage from high school. Homemade tutorials spread online showing people blending raw onions into horrifying liquids that looked like something discovered in a medieval dungeon. The smell alone could probably clear an entire family reunion within minutes. Imagine walking into work smelling like a cheesesteak sandwich left inside a hot car. But supporters insisted the sulfur compounds provided miraculous healing benefits. Now onions do contain useful nutrients. The problem is, wellness influencers transformed that small truth into a full cinematic universe of nonsense. Some parents even placed onion slices in socks overnight to pull sickness out of the body, which feels less like medicine and more like something a pirate would recommend during a thunderstorm. Doctors repeatedly explained there was little evidence for most of these claims, but once again, fake health culture proved its greatest strength, convincing people that discomfort automatically equals effectiveness. Apparently, if a treatment makes you cry and smell aggressively edible, somebody online will call it holistic healing. 26. Sleeping inside pyramid structures. Ancient Egypt gave humanity incredible architecture, mysterious history, and apparently one very confused wellness trend. Pyramid sleeping became popular after believers claimed pyramid-shaped structures concentrated cosmic energy capable of improving sleep, healing the body, preserving food, and sharpening mental focus. Because naturally, geometry itself was now entering the healthcare industry. People purchased tiny pyramid frames to place over beds, desks, meditation chairs, and sometimes even pets. The theory suggested the triangular shape captured universal energy fields like some kind of intergalactic Wi-Fi router built by a guy named Gary who definitely owns too many crystals. Supporters described feeling calmer, clearer, and more spiritually aligned after spending time inside their decorative cardboard tombs. The funniest part is how dramatically serious everyone became about dimensions and angles. Entire forums debated ideal pyramid measurements, with the intensity of NASA engineers preparing moon launches. Meanwhile, scientists mostly pointed out there was no solid evidence the shape possessed mystical powers beyond being excellent for confusing your neighbors. Still, the trend thrived because humans desperately want ancient civilizations to have hidden magical knowledge. We refuse to accept that maybe the pyramids were already impressive enough without turning them into giant cosmic phone chargers for exhausted yoga enthusiasts named Linda. 27. Bee sting therapy. And finally, we arrive at one of the most aggressively painful fake health trends humanity ever embraced: intentionally getting stung by bees for wellness. Bee venom therapy supporters claimed repeated stings could treat arthritis, inflammation, chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, and other illnesses, which means somebody genuinely looked at one of nature's most universally hated experiences and thought, you know what this needs? More enthusiasm. The treatment involved either live bees or venom injections applied directly to the body. Some people willingly endured dozens of stings during sessions, while practitioners described it as ancient healing wisdom. Doctors, meanwhile, described it as deeply risky, especially for anyone with allergies, because unlike trendy juice cleanses, this particular wellness fad could potentially kill you before lunchtime. The logic behind the trend rested on the idea that bee venom triggered beneficial immune responses. Unfortunately, fake health culture always takes one tiny scientific concept and drives it directly into a canyon at full speed. The internet transformed "some compounds are being studied" into "let insects attack your spine for enlightenment." And honestly, this feels like the perfect ending for fake health trends. Humanity spent thousands of years evolving intelligence, technology, and modern medicine, only to circle back around and voluntarily antagonize bees in the name of self-care. Which fake health trend deserves humanity's biggest "what were we thinking?" Let me know below.